be fooled when they tell you that Israel is retaliating. Israel are not retaliating. Israel has always been the aggressor. Israel has always been the instigator, the propagator. But the people who stood up and they spoke out against this oppression, those are the people that will be remembered. Those are the people that will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, and they will say, Ya Allah, I did whatever I could do. I spoke out. And Israel commits those war crimes on a daily basis, and the world stays silent. But we will not be silent. We will not stand by and let them mercilessly wipe out and commit genocide on a people. If you treated a dog in this country the way that the Palestinian child is treated in Palestine, wallahi, Allah is my witness, you would be arrested. Today they're treating human beings worse than an animal, and the world stays silent. Israel has the right to defend itself. Israel has the right to defend itself. It's like saying Jimmy Savile, the prolific child raper, has a right to defend himself when the child scratched him while he was raping it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My brothers and my sisters in religion, my brothers and my sisters in humanity, today's topic is a very pertinent topic that is on most of our minds. It's widely reported in the media, and it's important that we as Muslims also have a voice and we speak out against what we feel is an injustice that is happening to our brothers and sisters around the world. And in particular, we would like to concentrate today on our Palestinian brothers and sisters who are being slaughtered mercilessly. So we're going to talk about, inshallah, the current crisis in Palestine. Now, the issues around this conflict can be confusing, but the reality is that the foundational concepts that would attribute right and wrong, justice and injustice are very, very simple, very basic. They're not confusing, and they are not, most certainly not, something that the average person cannot grasp if they have an interest to stand up for that which is just, that which is fair. Now, we are being told that this current conflict started when Israel was attacked by a terrorist group, as they claim, and they flew over with paragliders and machine guns, and they killed some Israelis. And therefore, Israel has the right to defend itself, and it is now retaliating. But what a lot of people don't realize, they don't acknowledge, and they don't know that this attack was not just an attack that happened, that instigated a response. In reality, the Palestinians have been attacked for the last 75 years of their existence. And that attack and that oppression has not ceased, and it has not stopped. This is not the catalyst as to the conflict that we see today. The clocks did not start when the rockets flew over from Palestine into Israel. The clocks did not start for this conflict when some paragliders flew in and shot some innocent Israelis. The conflict started way before. And if you look, even just a few weeks and a few months before the conflict, on the 18th of September 2023, before the current crisis, Save the Children reported that 38 Palestinian children were killed by Israeli forces just leading up to this conflict, making that the worst year on record, the worst year on record of killing innocent Palestinian children just before this current conflict. So don't be fooled when they tell you that Israel is retaliating. Israel are not retaliating. Israel has always been the aggressor. Israel has always been the instigator, the propagator. And it is not the Israelis that are retaliating, but up to now, every retaliation is by the Palestinian people. So don't forget this, my friends. Don't let them persuade you. Don't let them persuade you that they are simply reacting to an offensive by the Palestinian people, when in fact they have been the ones who have been carrying out the offensives non-stop every day of the lives of the Palestinian people for the last 75 years. Under the United Nations Charter for the Human Rights, they regard Israel routinely commits war crimes to the Palestinian population, an innocent population that has no military, no navy, no air force, no army, and it attacks them mercilessly on a daily basis. Under the United Nations, my brothers and my sisters, not that I need them to quote to me as a Muslim as to what is valid or invalid, but according to their own charter, according to the very laws that they constructed, they said using excessive force, targeting of civilians, and disproportionate force are all acts and all crimes against humanity. They are war crimes, and Israel commits those war crimes on a daily basis, and the world stays silent. But we will not be silent. We will not stand by and let them mercilessly wipe out and commit genocide on a people. We will voice our opinions. We will voice what we have to say. And inshallah, there will be some amongst those who regard the Palestinians to be the perpetrators to hopefully be influenced by the information that is provided, not just here, but by the countless voices that are out there. If you don't wish to believe me, because the man is a Muslim, the man is a sympathizer for Islam, he's going to be perhaps presenting facts according to their narrative, then look at their own narrative, my friends. Look at their own narrative. If you study the organization for the Israeli soldiers who are breaking the silence, Breaking the Silence is an organization that catalogues and interviews Israeli soldiers who have gained a conscience and who are speaking out against the atrocities that they are committing on a daily basis. Hear what they have to say. If you don't believe me as a Muslim, believe the Israeli soldiers who are telling us that we deliberately and continuously on a daily basis humiliate the Palestinian people. We attack civilians. This is their words, not my words. We stop the teachers going to schools. We stop the children going to schools. We attack them. We shoot them. We humiliate them. We raid them in the middle of the night, waking the children up on gunpoint to make them fear us, to dominate us. These are not my words. These are the words of Israeli soldiers who have gained a conscience. You don't want to believe me, then at least believe them. At least allow that information to wake you. If you are asleep that the Muslims are complaining, that the Muslims are crying, that the Palestinians are crying, and you wish to just remain in your slumber, then at least allow these facts to wake you from your slumber. There is no excuse today for people who say that I'm ignorant and I don't know what's happening. There are resources available today that were not available to our fathers or our grandfathers or the generations that came before. Today, the internet is completely flooded with information. And even the lies and the propaganda are easily combated if you are interested to find out the truth. But if you're happy to have your predispositions fed because you hate the Arabs, because these are backward medieval people with a medieval religion full of hate, and you just wish to reinforce those predispositions, then yes, you will find the sewage on the internet to feed you, to give you the gluttony, to fill your souls and your hearts with that evil lies, with those deceptions. But if you have a conscience and you wish to at least side with the victim and ensure that you do not side with the perpetrator, the one who has created this mess in the first place, then open your eyes and educate yourselves. There's a lot of information out there. And again, if you don't want to believe a Muslim man who stands here crying about the Palestinians, then listen to Noam Chomsky, the professor who is Jewish himself. Listen to Norman Finkelstein or Ilan Pappé, who are political scientists. Their parents are survivors of the Holocaust. They have no dog in the race. They have no they do not attribute any support necessarily to any group or any people, but they speak with the evidence and the facts. And what do they say? What do they argue? The same things that I have mentioned to you today, that Israel commits on a daily basis war crimes on a predominantly civilian population, women and children. And so if you don't want to hear what people like myself are saying, at least open your eyes to the information that is out there. Follow these people, listen to what they have to say. I will give you one debate that I think personally was a very groundbreaking debate that Professor Norman Finkelstein had with Alan Dershowitz. If you want to do nothing else, watch that debate on Democracy Now! Alan Dershowitz versus Norman Finkelstein. Norman Finkelstein, by the way, is a political scientist. Both of his parents are Holocaust survivors. Both of his parents are Holocaust survivors. Alan Dershowitz is a law professor at Harvard, a heavyweight supporter for Zionism and the State of Israel. Watch that debate and tell me that these people are not lying and deceiving the world. Watch that debate and tell me that the Palestinian people are not being persecuted and victimized and treated worse than a dog would be treated in this country. If you treated a dog in this country the way that the Palestinian child is treated in Palestine, wallahi, Allah is my witness, you would be arrested. You would be arrested for treating a dog in that manner. Today they're treating human beings worse than an animal, and the world stays silent. The world says, we stand for Israel. How disgusting. What are you standing for? You're standing for a country, a nation, a political movement of Zionism that is aggressively and actively destroying and crushing the dreams of children and women to live in their land in peace. And you want to stick up the flag. We stand with Israel. That is one of the most disgusting and despicable things that you can do, quite frankly, according to me. Now, people say, let's not talk about figures. Let's not talk about how many here and how many there. Let's just say that both of them are killing each other. Let's just say both of them are fighting one another. But let's not look at the figures. I wonder why they say this. I wonder why they don't want you to look into the figures. Could it be that the imbalance that I'm about to tell you is so grotesque that they don't want you to know about it? So let's have a look at what they did in the last conflict, Protective Edge. 1,600 Palestinian deaths. How many? 1,600, 1,600. How many died in Israel? How many? 6. 6 died in Israel, 1,600 in Palestine. 550 of those Palestinian deaths were children. How many children died in Israel? 1. 1 child died in Israel. Homes destroyed. How many homes did these sophisticated rockets that were being fired into Israel, how many homes were destroyed? How many? 1. How many homes did Israel destroy in the Palestinian territories? How many? 24 hours the bulldozers were going. The missiles were flying. How many? 1 home in Israel, 18,000 homes in the Palestinian territories. So when you don't want to talk about the figures, when you don't want to talk about the numbers, I know why you don't want to talk about those numbers. Because those numbers are damning. They condemn you, they quash you, they crush you, they destroy any remnants of support for Israel. So you don't want to talk about those numbers. The Israelis destroyed 285 kindergartens, nurseries for babies, for children, and 1 was destroyed in Israel. They destroyed 73 medical facilities in Palestine. 73 in Palestine. How many medical facilities were destroyed in Israel? 0. Duck, zip, 0. Now, yes, these figures are uncomfortable for people. They don't want to talk about the numbers. because the numbers condemn them to their hypocrisy. The numbers condemn them to their utter contempt for justice and fairness. So what do? They say, let's not talk about the numbers, please. Let's just say it's a conflict, it's a war. They're just as bad as each other. My friends, these figures speak for themselves. They're not just as bad as each other. The figures speak for themselves. When you put Mike Tyson in a ring with a 3-year-old, it is not a battle or a bout, my friends. It is a massacre. When you shoot fish in a barrel, just because you get a bit of water splashing back on your face, doesn't constitute a battle or a war. It's a turkey shoot. It's shooting fish in a barrel, and they call it a conflict? They call it a war? This is disgusting. This is despicable. It's inhumane. They claim that, the reason why so many Palestinians die is because they have human shields. All of these Hamas people are holding up the babies because they don't want to be shot. They're holding up civilians. Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, B'Tselem, the Israeli charity that looks after the Palestinian rights. The international community, they've investigated this thoroughly. There's no evidence for this. Yet, these parrots, these fools, these liars, these deceivers on the media, constantly telling us that they're using human shields when there is no evidence whatsoever to support that claim. So they have to spread their propaganda with lies and deception. They say Israel has the right to defend itself. Israel has the right to defend itself. It's like saying Jimmy Savile, the prolific child raper, has a right to defend himself when the child scratched him while he was raping it. Would you ever utter such a thing? Would you ever agree to such a concept? As vile and as disgusting as that is, this is your support for Israel. That when you say Israel has a right to defend itself, you're saying that the perpetrator, the instigator, the propagator, the raper, the abuser, the murderer has a right to defend themselves? This is insanity. I tell you, this is insanity. And shame on you if you make utter such comments. Shame on you. You are dead. Your soul is dead. You have no hearts. Your hearts are stone. Do you not see the evidence that unfolds in front of you? You wish to remain blind and deaf and dumb to the misery of people? Or is it because, they're Arabs, they're medieval, these people are backward. You know, they teach their children to hate the Jews, so wipe them off, kill them, destroy them. There are very important lessons in history, my friends, that we need to contemplate. And all those of you who want to hang the flag of Israel off your buildings and on your Facebook posts, just remember one thing. That in history, the supporters of tyranny are never remembered. They are disgraced, even by their own families. If you have a Nazi in your generation, your forefathers, you'll even change your surname. You don't want to be attributed to that scum. Because anyone who commits genocide, murder, and supports that, you will never want to be a part of that. You'll never accept that. You'll want to conceal that with shame and hide that, even though you're not the person who's responsible for what they did. But it's an uncomfortable truth that people may look at you and judge you, that these are your descendants. This is where you have descended from. At the time of the Cherokee Indians, there was a minority of people who said that the genocide against them, the millions that you're killing, the scalps that were sold for 10 cents by the American government. They would buy the scalps of the Indian, the Native American. This was governmentally constructed and abused, and the genocide was authenticated by the government. 10 cents was the value of a Cherokee. And his scalp, they burnt scalps as high as hills once the transactions had been made. The Aborigines of Australia, the American slaves, the slavery that they did on the African. All of these people, the ones that supported it today, their families, their friends, and the people that know them or don't even know them but are simply in their nation, history of their nation, they want to ignore them. They are ignored. They are put to the sideline. They are not respected. They're not honored. People don't want to be a part of that, my friends. The people that stood for the Cherokee, the people that stood for the Aborigines of Australia and the Africans who were being enslaved, those are the people that we remember today. Whereas the perpetrators and the ones that excuse the perpetration of crimes against humanity, those people are forgotten. In fact, they're humiliated and insulted. I remember something that Malcolm X said, and it's very poignant. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. And those are very striking words. Many people today don't want to speak out against Israel because it's untrendy, unpalatable. Because the dichotomy that has been created is either you support Israel or you're supporting terrorism. This is the dichotomy that they've created, the psychology, the psychological games that you've played. One can oppose the killing of innocent people, whether it's by a Muslim or a non-Muslim. And our principles in Islam prohibit us from defending anyone, even your own brother, if he commits an injustice against an innocent person. We do not condone it, we do not accept it. And a minority of people that might do it, they are not part of us, they're not part of our religion. But the point that I'm trying to make to you here is that you have to take a stance. You have to take a stand. And how do you take that stand? You go wherever the evidence takes you. Not your feelings, not because it's other white people and I'm white, so I'll just stick with white because white is right. Not because the Arab is a brown man and he has a religion of Islam, which is barbaric. But even though they did rule the world for 1,000 years and give us our medicine, philosophy, thought, literature, mathematics, but we'll ignore all of that. We'll just look at the few episodes that we can point to where there was some barbarism. And we'll project that on the entire population as if that's all they are. One of the other quotes that is very striking by Malcolm X is, if you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. My friends, my brothers and my sisters in humanity, open your eyes. Open your eyes and see the evidence, see the data. I've mentioned to you Jewish charities, Israeli soldiers. It's well documented. You can go on YouTube, you can watch it straight away. They're telling you their witness testimony of what they were asked to do and what they are doing. But these fools that still wish to hang the flag of Israel and dance the tune to Israel, they'll ignore all of that. These people are traitors. These people are Jew-hating Jews. These are people who hate Jews. Self-hating Jews, they say. Self-hating Jews. Anyone that comes out and stands against Israel is a self-hating Jew. How comes there are no self-hating Christians or self-hating Muslims or self-hating atheists? There's only this phenomena of self-hating Jew because they wish to quash anyone who stands against what they have to believe. My brothers and my sisters, those of you who are not aware of the conflicts and what's happening, there are resources for you to go to access, to educate yourselves. There's a fantastic website called If Americans Knew. IfAmericansKnew.org. It's a resource. Many Jewish people are on there who are writing, cataloguing the abuses, the human rights abuses against the Palestinian people. It covers the history. It covers an onward description of what is happening. Educate yourselves, my friends. I've also mentioned to you the works of Noam Chomsky, a Jewish person who is speaking aggressively, actively against the Israeli regime and the illegal occupation of the Palestinian land. You have Professor Norman Finkelstein. Look at his works. His parents were survivors of the Holocaust. He's got no dog in the race. At least access their material. I'm going to finish by just giving a message to my Muslim brothers and sisters. Yes, what we see has been very, very upsetting. It has stirred us, it has snatched our sleep and our peace, and we're upset. We are angered easily because our whole psyche is disorientated by what we are seeing. But my brothers and my sisters, in Islam, Allah and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has placed limits on what you can do to retaliate. And it is completely against Islam to target civilians, target people who are not fighting you. Going down Golders Green with flags waving to intimidate people, this is not Islam. Taking your sports cars and revving them with flags waving, this is not Islam. If you want to do something, then educate yourself. Become an activist. Speak out against it. Do things that you are allowed to do according to your religion, and don't overstep the mark. Allah says very clearly in the Quran, do not let your despising or hating of a people make you unjust. Don't be unjust. This is not a Jewish problem. Don't make this about Jews. Do not attack or upset your Jewish neighbors, because this is not the way of Islam. We're not supposed to do this. We have to be just and we have to be fair. We speak out against the Israeli regime and Zionism and this pernicious and aggressive, violent action that they're taking against the Palestinian people. We do not put everyone in one bucket, in one boat, in one basket, because that is what they do to us as Muslims. So be better than them. Be better than them and don't generalize. Let them generalize, let them do the evil and let them answer for what they have done. But don't become answerable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by overstepping the mark. And my final message to my Palestinian brothers and sisters, we hear your cries. We see your children and our children being bombed and killed. We are with you. We support you. We will speak out against you, and we will do whatever is in our power within the legal constraints that are placed upon us to fight for your cause. And if that means our wealth and our energy and our words, then we will be there for you. And one last message to my Palestinian brothers and sisters, that your resilience and your strength has strengthened our iman. This is dawah for us. Because in light of the destruction, in light of the tyranny and the oppression, you are still saying Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. And Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah. You're showing thanks and shukr whilst your entire families have just been bombed and wiped out. You're picking up the pieces of your children and you're saying Alhamdulillah to Allah. You're being grateful, and as a consequence, that resilience is giving us strength as well. So Jazakallah khair to my brothers and sisters in Palestine, and know that your brothers and your sisters around the world are supporting you, and there will be a day when you will be freed, and there will be a day when the people who spoke against the oppression will be the ones who will be celebrated, and the maniacs, the psychopaths who have supported this by military means or even your words, then you will be forgotten. You'll be destroyed in history. Nobody will want to know you or attribute anything to you. Your own families will disown you and they will not want to know you. But the people who stood up and they spoke out against this oppression, those are the people that will be remembered. Those are the people that will stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, and they will say, Ya Allah, I did whatever I could do. I spoke out. You told me there were 3 signs for iman, for belief. You said the first one was to stop it with my hands. I was incapable. I couldn't do that. The second one was that you speak out against it. And the third one was just feel that it is evil in your hearts. So Alhamdulillah, at least we do the first stage and we do the second stage. And we speak out against the oppression. And we will not tolerate people. And we are not going to be on the back foot. And we're not going to be defensive. We're going to say what you're doing is genocide. It's mass murder. It's the killing and the quashing of innocent people. And it has to stop. Jazakallah khair for listening to the message. Remember your brothers and sisters in Palestine. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.